Sunday Night Football, all sorts of storylines. Late in this one, New England trailing by 3. Lamar Jackson out. Derrick Henry sidelined. On a 4th down, it's Drake Maye to Steph Diggs. Some big plays in the 4th by that duo and others. And when I say others, enter Ramondre Stevenson. Puts a foot in the ground, a couple more cuts, takes it upfield, and New England takes the lead. 28-24. Baltimore now having to answer with Snoop Huntley in at quarterback for the majority of this one. Lamar left with a back issue right before halftime, did not return. And on the second play of this drive, Zay Flowers puts it on the ground. Another big mistake late by these Baltimore Ravens as they can't seem to get out of their own way. But you know whose way they are getting out of? The Pittsburgh Steelers. A big loss here as they drop sub 500. It looks like the North could belong to Pittsburgh once again. A loss by the Ravens or a win by the Steelers would get us that eventuality, and it looks like that is the direction headed. As for New England, a 12th victory, slotted still that 2 seed. In studio with the fellas to explore, and I have plenty of questions on the Ravens side, but let's start with the winner. JJ, we look to Drake Maye as someone who's literally answered every question you could pose to him. Hasn't had that fourth quarter comeback type moment. Trailing in this game late, finds the points he needs, goes ahead late, and just looks like he's in complete control throughout that process. What'd you take from the performance? Well,
it's huge, right? You have Drake Maye, an MVP candidate who didn't have the 300-yard passing game. And then what does he do against the Baltimore Ravens defense in a game that Baltimore really needed to win? He passes for 380 yards. He has 2 touchdowns. He could have scored another one right there at the end of the game to pad those stats, to help his MVP candidate. He slides. Let's go ahead and kneel out the game and get the win. This is a big game and a big win for Drake Maye, who also, let's be honest about this, they could have had more points on the board. I thought there was a very questionable roughing the passer call there at the end of the first half where the Patriots should have gotten the ball back and they should have been able to kick what would have been a chip shot field goal. Then there was a non-pass interference call deep down the field. Also, earlier in the game, they gave Baltimore a short field on a terrible 4th and 10 fake punt. And so this game, while Drake Maye did come back down 2 possessions in the 4th quarter, a huge come-from-behind win, it didn't have to be that hard, but it was, and it wasn't because of Drake Maye.
And it still, Mac, didn't feel like this was a team that was trailing by 11 in the 4th quarter. This is, in fact, the first time that the Patriots have come back by down 11 or more in the 4th quarter.
Don't do it.
Since the 28-3 game. I apologize to our Atlanta friends out there.
Do it for the gram.
Mac, you're going to have to go answer to some on that one, I'm sure. But, why did they feel like they were going to win this game all along? Or at least did you share that same feeling that New England, despite their deficit, was in control?
Well, because Baltimore did not have Lamar Jackson. I think that played a part when you talk about Baltimore having a lead in the 4th quarter and not having your star quarterback in Lamar Jackson. But to JJ's point, when you look at how this game unfolded for the Patriots, this was a very, very important game that they needed to win. Number one, when you look at the AFC East race, Buffalo was still lingering in the shadows.
Very much.
Right? And you want to make sure you continue to create separation between yourself and the Buffalo Bills. Secondly, seeing how they lost last week, they controlled that game for pretty much the entirety of that ball game, but they lost. This game was total opposite. For the very first time, like you said, they had to fight from behind and being on the road, playing against a very, very desperate team in that environment, and you were able to fight from behind, double-digit lead in the 4th quarter with your star quarterback making the necessary plays. This was another confidence builder for the New England Patriots, and they were able to do so without Travion Henderson. You know what I mean? The most explosive player on their offense. Ramondre Stevenson, he's found his stride. He's holding on to the football, and he's leaning on defenders. Mac Hollins surfaced in this game, 7 receptions. Stephon Diggs, he went back to the fountain of youth.
It's been really impressive what we've seen.
Very much so.
Diggs.
Yeah. Very much so. So when you look at the arsenal that is surrounding Keyshawn Butte, Williams, a lot of names that were not necessarily household names, but we all know who they are because of their quarterback and how consistent they've been.
Yeah, Drake Maye right now, he's playing at an MVP level with this being his first 300-yard game. Defense came up with some plays, but what's most importantly, this team was undefeated on the road.
Yeah.
The only undefeated team on the road, and the Patriots have found ways to win ball games. And I was very, very impressed on how they responded from that loss of last week. Bruce Arians was a coach of mine. He used to always say, good teams don't lose 2 in a row.
Back to back, yeah.
And now New England went on the road against a quality opponent. Yeah, we know they didn't have Lamar Jackson late in that ball game, but the way and the fashion that they won that ball game was very, very impressive, doing the way they lost last week. So hats off to Drake Maye and Coach Vrabel and that New England team, because they're doing some impressive things right now.
It's impressive what we saw in primetime throughout Week 16 thus far. You have the Seahawks trailing by 10 in the fourth quarter coming back. You have the Bears trailing by 10 or more in the fourth quarter. You have now the New England Patriots trailing by 10 or more in the fourth quarter, come from behind wins in all 3 of those instances. I want to get to Baltimore here in a second, but I do have a voter at the desk with me, and we saw big numbers from Matthew Stafford in a loss. We see big numbers and a career high for Drake Maye. How are you weighing these 2 seasons one to the other?
So I'm very happy that there are still more games to be played and more important games to be played. I had, going into this week, if the season ended, it would have been Matthew Stafford as the MVP for me. I don't hold against Matthew Stafford the fact that his defense didn't hold up at Seattle. He played the game, and he played at an MVP-like level, right? But you also do have to credit Drake Maye, because something that we've kind of danced around and touched on, we have noted that Lamar Jackson went out in this game. But Drake Maye did not play Lamar Jackson. Drake Maye didn't have to play Lamar Jackson to come back down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. It didn't matter, right? I mean, yeah, Lamar being on the other side, they could have added to that.
Affects game flow.
Sure. Yeah. But the fact is, he did this against a defense that was desperate. And he got that win. This was a big moment for Drake Maye. Some people had kind of taken him out of that discussion, kind of brought Josh Allen up to that maybe number 2 level. I think that Drake Maye came through tonight and said, no, I still deserve to be in the top 2 conversation.
And he put his team on his back tonight. They had no running game at all tonight. Right. So,
well, I feel like we should talk about it, so let's talk about it. In a 4-point game, you're looking at Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry with the big coats on the sideline. Lamar Jackson suffers a back injury to add to the rash of injuries he's dealt with this season. Derrick Henry essentially pulled from this ball game. Perhaps more answers on that to come here post-game and in the days to come. But interesting usage, Mac, in terms of the running back, and another unfortunate situation here from Lamar. What do you make of the 2 omissions?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Now, with the injury to Lamar, that's something that you can't control. It's the flow of the game. Unfortunately, unexpected injuries happen. But with your star quarterback out of the ball game, and you still need to find a way to win, the best way to make that possibility become a reality is running the football. And I understand Derrick Henry had a costly fumble in the first half, but he still was very, very successful against the New England Patriots. And when you look at his day, 18 carries for 128, he averaged almost a first down a carry. 7 points. Yeah. So that second rushing touchdown that gave you that, 24 to
13 lead.
24 to 13
at the start
lead.
Of the fourth quarter.
Right there to start the fourth quarter. This is where you say you got to close the ball game for us, Derrick Henry. You're our best offensive player that's healthy. And you just gave us this nice lead. But when we go back out there offensively, regardless of what happens with Drake Maye and our defense, we're leaning on you. You got 18 carries now. You should finish with at least 27 to 20.